Alright everyone, it is Dokkan time again today, and we are going to be doing the Super Easy for the STR Gogeta, Super Gogeta. This is the original big dude. This is the dude that made this game go crazy 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This unit is so old. It is insane. But he's finally been Super Extreme Z awakened, and he's pretty good. He's pretty dang good. Although I will say people are probably going to probably doubt him quite a bit. They're probably going to give him a lot of crap because there is certain aspects of him that are probably what you could consider to be just a little bit, not necessarily underwhelming, but you would assume that they probably would have tried to make him extremely broken. He's not extremely broken, but he is good to use now. Hopefully, during the part 2 of the 10th anniversary, we'll actually get a, well, Mario or whoever it is that they're going to be giving to us as the part 2 LR, and that'll be a perfect leader for him. But anyways, let's just kind of get into it and go over his kit. We'll go over his builds, his defense, and of course his roll tips. So, going down, let's just go take a look at his 200% leader options here. He doesn't have, honestly, I don't like his 200% options right now. If you're watching this after part 2 of the 10th anniversary, there is other options. There's probably other options. But for right now, his only primary options are going to be the physical Super Saiyan Trio, and then more than likely just Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I would say that you can definitely rock him under the previous 9th anniversary unit Gogeta right here. That is an option. I just don't feel like his leader skill is good enough in this day and age of content. Movie Heroes is still good, do not get me wrong. Movie Heroes is still a very good category, and we have nothing but Easy A's and Super Easy A's and much more potential units that will be getting awakenings and new units that'll buff up this category. I personally just do not like Gogeta as a double lead. I think it's rough to run 2 of them at once, and he is most definitely what I would consider a literal dodge or die unit. And after a year of him being out, I just don't feel like it's suitable to be running 2 of him. It's just a little more uncomfortable. Instead, I would say that the Super Saiyan Trio is probably this Gogeta's best friend. And we'll get more into that once we get later into the video. And then I would say the Super Saiyan Goku is definitely, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku is going to be the next best leader. There's just so many good options with both of these 2 leaders. And yeah. So let's just kind of go down into his kit here. Now remember, this is a Super Easy A, so it doesn't necessarily change anything of the leader skill, and it doesn't change the super attack. It only changes the passive skill, unfortunately. But his 12 key is just causing immense damage and lowers attack and defense. And then his leader skill is just all types, key plus 3 is 77%. His passive skill, however, has changed dramatically. Key plus 2, attack and defense 200. He gets attacks effective against all types, of course. And then he has a 50% chance to crit. He launches an additional attack that also has a 50% chance to be a super attack. When attacking, gets another attack and defense 100%. And then when he's a second or third attack in a turn, he launches an additional super attack, and all allies get key plus 2 and attack plus 40%. So just alone with that, I would say that there is absolutely zero reason to be throwing him into slot 1. Unless he gets locked into there, I don't see any reason to be throwing him into literally slot 1. It removes a free additional super, it removes free damage, it removes support. There's just no reason to throw him into slot 1, even if he was a godly tank, which he's not. For every rainbow key sphere obtained, attack and defense plus 50%, and chance of performing a critical hit plus 10%. So to keep this in mind, there is no cap on this. So if you magically acquire 4 rainbow key spheres, or even 5, that would be intense and crazy. More than likely, you will probably only be collecting 2 or 3 at the most on average. It really just depends on how many rainbow orb changers you do have on your team. And then for every attack performed, he gets an additional defense plus 50% up to 200%. So this will go up to 200%, and it is permanent. So once he's performed 4 attacks, he will be maxed out on his defense right there. And it is just a normal attack. So it doesn't have to be a super. It could be 4 normals. Damage reduction rate 10% within the turn up to 30%. So for this one, this means as long as he performs 3 attacks in a turn, then he should get 30% damage reduction. Basically, because every attack is 10%. So as long as he is in the 2nd or 3rd attacking slot, he will always get that so long as he actually gets to attack. When there's a superclass enemy, attack plus 77%, and 70% chance of guarding all attacks. Remember, we're not in the day and age now where we don't know when a unit is going to guard. We now do have a confirmation icon of when a unit does guard. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this unit and you're fighting a super boss. Look out for the guard icon so that you know if he is actually going to be guarding that turn. And when there is an extreme class enemy, attack and defense plus 77%, performs a crit, and guards all attacks. So if you couldn't tell, he crits. He does a lot. He does the crits. He's got a free crit. Unfortunately, he is an STR unit, so he's got 5 crit built in, but there's no reason to give him crit. And he does guard all attacks on an extreme class enemy. The guard plus a 30% damage reduction does solidify him in a very good spot. Basically, so long as he's actually fully built up and he's getting all 3 of those attacks off, he's going to be perfectly fine for the most part. I do think he will struggle if you have less dupes. This is going to be a unit that's going to struggle greatly if you do not have him rainbowed. His link skills is probably one of the weakest parts of Gogeta that current and newer players will probably be very thrown back by. Back in the day, we didn't always have 7 links on every one of our characters. And Gogeta was one of those units that only had 6 links. Unfortunately, due to the way the game's code is well coded, they will not give him another link. So, he just has Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Prepare for Battle, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, and Fierce Battle. And he is only on 3, 6, 9, 10 categories. This means that if there's a successor 200% leader coming in part 2, he will not be on that leader skill. He is on Earth Protecting Heroes, though, as one of the newer categories. And then, of course, he's on standard kind of Fusion-esque links as Fusion, Movie Heroes, Super Saiyans, Otherworld Warriors, Final Trump Card, Connected Hope, Powerful Comeback, Time Limit, and Fused Fighters, and, of course, Earth Protecting Heroes. This does limit his range of 200% options and leaders, unfortunately, and this is why he has so few options. Now, as far as his links go, yeah, he's going to link up with other Gogetas, obviously. Like, he's going to straight up just link up with other Gogetas. The Tech Gogeta is probably going to be one of his best friends if you ever get them both out on the same rotation. And then, of course, the new Tech Vegito is also a very solid, good option. You're only missing 1 link. And then, of course, more Vechitos, like the Super Easy A Vegito, is a perfect partner. And I really do feel like this is actually a perfect rotation right here. You can either throw Vegito into slot 1 or slot 3 and pretty much give a perfect amount of links right there. He is missing one link, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're missing 1 link. But other than that, I mean, Vegito also is supporting. So these two support each other. They are perfectly kind of synergized, really. And then after that, yeah, that's about it. So he will be linking up with, like, Majin Buu Saga pretty well, because we do have a lot of fusions and we have a lot of Over in the Flash possibilities. So he's got a lot of options with Majin Buu Saga, which is why I was saying earlier that you should consider the Super Saiyan 3 Goku as a potential leader. I think defensively wise, he's going to be dominant mostly on the Super Saiyan Trio team, as he will get the 77% buff from both leaders, and then you do have other options to buff that team now. But anyways, so with that all being said, let's kind of go and look at his defense numbers, compliments of both Halvard and Luke. So I'm going to go ahead and go look at Halvard's first. So as you can see here, when we're fighting an extreme class enemy, he does actually get his own support, evidently anyways, according to Halvard here. And once he's fully built up, you'll have a good start of turn defense at 900k, roughly. And then post-super, you'll be at 1.2 million. And if you can get 3 Rainbow Key Spheres, your start of turn defense can get up to the 1.2 million range. And then defense post-super would be about almost 1.7 million defense. And with some support, you can get up to the 1.3 to 4 start of turn defense and 1.8 million defense after super. So the good thing about this is that this can drastically go up based on domain. It can go up based on off-turn support. And this is actually a pretty good amount of defense mixed in with guard and 30% damage reduction. It makes it so that you basically have 50% damage reduction in total, maybe a little bit higher. I would say a 30% damage reduction in guard mixture is probably about a good 50% damage reduction. So he can almost tank a 4 million super if he so chose to. It's not really that simple. I'm just saying he can probably tank close to that. Maxed out, of course. We're talking at the best case scenario, 200% max rainbow links maxed out, 3 to 4 rainbow key spheres, and of course other additional support and potentially domain. There's other factors, of course, but he's still very good defensively. Post super. I know some people have taken into the consideration of AoEs recently, and I'm not really sure why, because we're not in a time frame where AoEs are necessarily an issue right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at Luke Rocket Lizard's calculations here. So he's calculating for everything. Unlike Halvard, who does like the base minimum, which is a good place to start. Rocket Lizard loves to actually go into other aspects. So on this turn 2 rotation here, you can see the supers going up here on the side here. His defense going at 1.5 million on the first super attack. And then it goes up as he builds up. He's taken into consideration of 3 rainbow key spheres. He's fighting a super type with double trio support. And then the 50%, I'm not sure where he's getting 50% attack trio support. But then he's got another 30% attack and 80% defense super attack support. I'm not sure where he's getting all of those support numbers for exactly, but I do think on the trio team, that is where it's primarily going to be where his best is at. He's getting support from the trio. He's getting off-turn rotation support with the defense from double lead. And then there's several other units you can be throwing onto the team, like the Super Saiyan 3-4 Goku, who can be also supporting off rotation. So this is a very good choice of units to be really running with this Gogeta if you want to. And in this case, we're at turn 5, 3 rainbow key spheres versus an extreme type enemy, double trio support, 90% start of turn attack support, plus 40% start of turn defense support, plus trio support, plus 4 build up, 21 million supers with 2.2 million defense on super. I'd say that's about right. I have done some math and some other tests, and this is pretty accurate. I think you could definitely do this easily on a Super Saiyan Trio team. Unfortunately, I will say you need to cut out like 5 to 6 or 700k of that defense if you're not on the Super Saiyan Trio team. I cannot stress the amount of difference on defense with this Gogeta being on the Super Saiyan Trio team versus not being on the Super Saiyan Trio team. Don't get me wrong, domain will definitely make up for a lot of that potentially. But other than domain and just general off-turn support rotation, it can only go so high. But with double trio support, that's like an extra 150% defense increase. It does make up for not being on a 220, really, it does. So hopefully you pulled the Super Saiyan Trio if you really want to rock Gogeta, because I feel like this is his home. So thank you, Luke and Halvard, for those defense calculations. But let's go take a look over at his builds and then his roll tips. So I'm going to start off with his 55% build, of course. With his 55% build, he does have anniversary equipped specifically. And you should be basically only attaching these equipments because there's just no better equips for him defense-wise. If you want to ignore his anniversary equips, I would totally... I'd kind of get it. And then I'd also be a little bit concerned because I do feel like you're just taking away so much defense that it's not worth the potential attack. Though, honestly, if you're daring enough and you got the attack orbs and so forth, please do let me know if you want to throw anything else on him on attack orbs and see if how much damage it increases. But anyways, so if you have the silver anniversary equip, you will automatically get a level 6 dodge. That level 6 dodge will be just basically what he gets, because the level 9 bronze that he gets is a 900 increase on his defense, and then the level 6 silver gives him also a 600 defense boost. So he's actually getting a crap ton of defense from both his bronze and his silver. So that would be the best way to really roll with him. I wouldn't suggest not using his anniversary equips. Moving on to his actual build here, with dupes, of course. We do get access to the gold slot, so that means you should be using his gold anniversary equip, which will give him a level 6 additional and a level 2 defense orb. This is one of his older ones, so he actually has several. He has 2 sets of anniversary equipment. One of his anniversary equipment is from the previous years, and these other ones are from the newer set. So in the previous years, he actually only had an 800 orb, but I do believe these 2 are from the old ones. Honestly, thinking about it right now, I'm not sure you have access to those if you didn't get them before. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm actually a little bit curious on that. Hold on, I'm going to pause. Okay, so I just did a little bit of digging, and I apologize for that. This is my current Gogeta in-game. This is with the mixture of old and new anniversary orbs. This is interesting. So, the old anniversary orbs, you had a level 9 and you have a level 8 from the previous anniversary battle rewards. From this anniversary rewards from the first anniversary battle, you get a level 9 equip. In the previous one, you got a crit orb with less defense. So you only got 400 defense from this one from the previous one. So this wasn't the better one. So the better one is actually the one that you can get right now. So the silver equip is good, the bronze equip is good, but unfortunately for the case of the gold equip, it appears that the older one would have been better, purely on the state that it gives you additional. Gogeta doesn't need more crit. he doesn't need more crit. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to give him an additional crit orb, but this is the older equip that gives defense and additional, and this is the better equip. Unfortunately, if you did not complete that, if you did not get that prior to this 10th anniversary, you just don't have access to it. So that is a very unfortunate thing. I can say that you won't find a comparable one as far as additionals go. So either you'll have to end up choosing defense or the defense, like a defense gold equip, or you'll have to choose an additional or dodge or whichever way you want to sway on that. But it does appear that it is not accessible anymore. We can go ahead and go over and take a look at the 10th anniversary battles over here. And once you go down into the missions, you'll see that you can complete this, the first anniversary battle, and you'll get some orbs. And then you're, of course, going to get some of these. These 2 defense equips right here, these are for both Gogeta and Janemba. So it's a little unfortunate. I mean, unless some players that did not have the older equips can comment and say this, it looks like you kind of just lost out on the better orbs. I would be highly interested if somebody actually could tell me if you, as a newer player that didn't have the orbs before, if you were able to get them. I would really love and appreciate if you could actually comment that down below, because I do not know, as I am an older veteran player. I already have had the equipment, so it's entirely possible they just locked out Gogeta's best orb for a gold equip. That's really unfortunate. That being said, I apologize. Let's just go back to the video. I guess that's something I had to throw in there. But additional is the best way to go for him. He doesn't really need the dodge, but he doesn't need crit either. So there's no purpose in putting in crit into his hidden potential. It would be best just to give him either dodge or additional, entirely up to player preference. The gold equip, if you were unfortunate not to acquire that equipment piece before it was changed during the 10th anniversary, then my biggest suggestion would either be just get a different defense equip orb for the gold slot, or just try to get an additional, a higher additional orb slot for that equipment piece. That would probably be the best suggestion I can really give here. As you can see, I mean, it's not impossible to get a level 6 additional orb. I do have one. It's a little bit rare, but you can definitely acquire them. And then, of course, as far as defense orbs, you can get some decent defense orbs with a dodge, by the way, so they might even be preferable to some players. You can get these from other events and so forth, like Extreme Super Battle Road and henceforth and so forth. So it's not like you don't have other options as far as a gold equipment goes, but it is something to note that this orb specifically was only available to players that did the anniversary battle prior to the 10th anniversary. So, with all that being said, let's move on to his roll tips. I apologize. So with his roll tips, I do feel like Gogeta is primarily a damage dealer. Now, you probably wouldn't say that because he only has 20 million attacks going off, and if you have lower dupes, like you only have a couple dupes, you might even see lowest down to like 15 mil, even 16, 17, somewhere in there. But the thing is like this dude can triple quad super, and you add that all up, and you got, even on those 15 mils, you got a, what? If he triple supers, that's 45 million damage for the turn. If he quad supers, that's 60. If he gets up to the 20 million damage marker on his super attack, then a triple super, that's 60 million damage in total. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, you know, when it's spread out, but at least he does a lot of super attacks. He does tank well, and he does actually support a little bit. But I do suggest the leaders being specifically the Super Saiyan 3 Goku or physical Super Saiyan trio. This one right here being my personal favorite. And then I do at least like the synergy you can get out of the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Partners-wise are just kind of obvious. Vegetos, Gogetas, and Gotenks. Those would be his best partners, of course. And then his best slot position is going to be in 2. Obviously, you can put him in slot 3 as well to float him off. And just use him as a general support unit, which wouldn't be the worst thing possible. But just keep in mind, his defense really is dependent on the rainbow key spheres. So putting him in slot 2 gives you kind of a better advantage to being able to baby him a little bit and give him those rainbow key spheres that he does need. So, but I think that's going to be it for the video. I apologize. I kind of got a little wonky there at the end because it really just kind of dawned on me that they kind of locked you out of the equipment orbs. Maybe I'm wrong. I kind of hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see the missions to give you those equipment orbs in the game anymore because I already got them and they changed the event. So, but anyways, everyone, let me know how you're going to decide to build Gogeta. Are you going to lean into additional, or are you going to lean into dodge? Let me know how you're going to do that, and what team are you going to run on with him? Are you going to go for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or are you going to run the physical Super Saiyan trio if you got them? But anyways, everyone, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day and a good night.